The next question that I've taken here is this. At the center of the question here is at the center of the bar magnet, right? It's not a solenoid. There's a different answers for solenoid. It says at the center of a bar magnet, the magnetism is what? So let's say if I try making a bar magnet, well, I do not remember the convention, which one is red indicating north or south. But let's say if I take this as a bar magnet where if I point this to be north and this end to be south, one more time. So I'll take this to be north and this to be the south pole. At the center, by that they mean this one. So you should know that at the center of this bar magnet, it should be zero. So the magnetic strength or the magnetism or magnetic property or magnetic field at this point should be zero. But this is not true in case of a solenoid in spite of the fact that the pattern of the magnetic fields are similar in both cases. Inside a solenoid, there is a uniform magnetic field produced. In the next question, it says, question says, this is what? A round and a green seeded pea plant is crossed with a wrinkled yellow seeded pea plant. The seeds produced in F1 generation. F1 is the first filial generation. So it's very easy to figure out that if I say the gamete from here, it's going to be capital R small y. And if I take a gamete from here, it's going to be small r capital Y. And on recombinations, that means on crossing over, we can say that the gametes so formed will be capital R will be paired with small r and capital Y with small y, where capital R is a dominant character, so it should be round and it will, yeah, since it is dominant and this being recessive, yellow is dominant and green is recessive, so therefore it should be round and yellow. So the round and yellow option you can see it is there, that is, this one is correct. The next question, which is I can see is an assertion reasoning. It says a fuse in a circuit prevents the damage of appliances and the circuit, right? Damage of appliances is circuit due to overloading. That's correct. So you know that a fuse is fitted between. I mean, a fuse is always fitted like this. Let's say this be your device, and this is the current flowing through this. So what happens when the current in the circuit exceeds a limit, then what happens? The fuse wire will melt. This will melt and the circuit will break, and therefore the device can be protected from damage. So this is assertion is correct. Now says overloading occurs when the live wire and the neutral wire comes in contact. This is also true. When the live wire, which is generally of red insulation, and the neutral wire of black insulation, when it comes in direct contact because of poor insulation or any other cause of excessive heating and all, right, this is called overloading there because the current in the circuit abruptly increase when it becomes very large, and that's why it's called overloading. Well, both are correct, but it's not the correct explanation because why is a fuse wire melt has a different reason, right? Fuse wire melt because of several reasons. It could be connecting many appliances to the many appliances in a single socket, or could be using a current of a lower rating to carry a current of higher rating. So I'll say that here the correct answers would be both are correct, but it's not the correct explanation. So therefore the option will be and R is the correct explanation. So option should be, so it should be B, right? Now, in the order it is written over here is this are true, but is not the correct explanation. So this should be the answer. In this question, it says we do not need to clean ponds or lakes. It should be lakes, right? It should be lakes. But an aquarium needs to be cleaned regularly. Why is the question? So what we know that in a pond, say in a pond there are many microorganisms and these are called decomposers. So whatever the toxic waste so produced during toxic waste, the nitrogenous waste produced by fishes and other aquatic organisms, so the decomposers actually, you know that the role of a decomposers, they convert the inorganic nitrogen based compounds into or organic nitrogen based compounds into inorganic substances, and that's called nitrification, and that helps in cleaning the pond, and it's a self-sustained pond. Is what a self-sustained sustained and a complete ecosystem due to the presence of decomposers. So we'll say that that's the reason why, but an aquarium does not have such a things. Next question is why an ozone getting depleted at higher levels of atmosphere, and mention the two harmful effects of this. So ozone, you know, that is the layer of ozone which actually protects which prevents this layer of oxygen that's present in the outer atmosphere, keeping say this being the earth, and they say this is the layer of atmosphere, and the ozone layer which is present in the topmost layer, somewhere here only the ozone layer is present. So it's basically it protects the harmful ultraviolet rays from entering into the earth's atmosphere. And as I said, it's a harmful. So but then the question is why it's getting depleted. So it is getting depleted by the release of CFC. So basically CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, which reacts with this ozone layer. It reacts with this ozone gas and it depletes it. And therefore, there is a hole created and it enters into the Earth's atmosphere. And you know that it causes several diseases in human being also, including skin cancer. In this question, it says two green plants kept separately, has to be a potted plant, in a oxygen free container, one in the dark and other in the continuous light, which will live longer. So what do you know that if two potted plant, let's say if I take two potted plants, if a plant A is kept in sunlight and B in dark, right? So the other plant B, which I said is kept in dark over here, what is expected to happen that the plant which is kept on light, the plant which is kept on light will be able to produce the oxygen, right? The plant which is kept in light will be able to produce oxygen which is required for the respiration, while the other plant will not be able to produce, as you know, during the process of photosynthesis. This plant will photosynthesize and therefore it will produce the oxygen required for the respiration. This will not be able to do so. Therefore, we'll say that the plant A, or the one which is kept in a continuous light, will live longer. Now, in the next question, what does it say here? Yeah, a figure is given below, and the experiment is carried out. Here is an experiment is carried out between concentrated sulphuric acid and sodium chloride, which reacts with each other to form a gas HCl. The blue litmus is brought near this mouth and the delivery tubes check the presence of HCl, but no change takes place in the litmus paper. So what we know that any acids, it's not only HCl, any acid shows its acidic behavior only when it releases H3O plus ions, or we say H plus AQ ions. And you know that this hydronium ions can be released only in the presence of water. So we'll say that since the litmus paper is dry and the gas so released is also dry, that's why there is no change in color. Well, the only way we can bring about a change in color, either to moisten, the two possibilities is this, is either to moisten this blue litmus paper or to dissolve this dry litmus paper into this acid containing water. So that's the reason it is not turning. So one more time, any acid shows its acidic behavior when it releases H plus ions, and they releases only in the presence of water. In the next question, it says, what does it says that in one of the industrial processes used for manufacturing of sodium hydroxide, a gas X is formed as a byproduct. So gas X is formed as a byproduct, and the gas reacts with water to give compound Y, which is used as a bleaching agent. So the product has to be a bleach here. The Y product is bleach. That's one thing is identified. The compound X and Y could be. So here what we are looking for, an X, the gas X, as a byproduct. So The gas X has to be what? Has to be chlorine. Let me once again read. It says one of the industrial process used in the manufacturing of sodium hydroxide. So that's they are talking about the chloralkali process. Has to be the chloralkali process, and the gas X is formed as a byproduct, and the gas reacts with lime water. So you know that the chlorine gas, when it is passed with a dry slaked lime, which is Ca, what's dry slaked lime is CaOH whole twice to gives calcium oxychloride CaOCl2, and this is bleach here, right? So Y is used as bleach. So we can see Y is bleaching powder, and this is Cl2 chlorine gas. So the correct option, it is this one. That is option D here. The next question it says select the incorrect options, and these are the indicators given here. First is litmus. Yes, it is purple in color, and it is red in acidic medium and blue in basic medium. So we have to choose an incorrect. I just look into this. This is turmeric, which is ordinarily yellow in color. It does not show any change in color in the acidic medium. It does not show any change in color in acidic medium, right? So it should be yellow in acidic medium, right? It remains yellow because its not natural color, as I said, is yellow, so it should remain yellow. So over here it should they write yellow, and in basic medium it's what? Reddish brown. So we just had to look for an incorrect options. I'll say that D is incorrect in this case. In this question says that four petals PQRS are tested with water, steam, and dilute hydrochloric acid, and the table is given below. What we have to figure out is between which two metals should hydrogen be placed. These are the options given here. So what do you know that hydrogen is placed in the activity series, and those metals which cannot displace hydrogen from the acid are placed below. So this is copper, silver, gold. And the metals, there are several metals which are placed. So we have to look for two such metals, right? Two such metals, which are one over here, another over here. So how can we figure out? I suppose we should first arrange the metals in the activity series. What I can see that metal R is displacing all of them. So it is the most reactive over here. And I'll then choose the lowest one, that is S over here. So I'll take the S at the end, one end, and then start rearranging them. I can say the next is P. After R, it should be P, right? So the P can displace except for water. It reacts with steam as well as dilute hydrochloric acid. So after R, the next most reactive is P. Then when I look into R is already done, Q is left. So the Q can react with cannot react with water as well as steam, but it reacts with acid. So the next most reactive metal will be Q here. So clearly, I said as in the beginning only, it should be one which is more reactive than other, and the second which is less reactive than hydrogen. So clearly, the hydrogen should be placed between Q and S. So Q and S, if I look into the option, yes, it is D. D is the correct answer in this.